also plays a role in why we're seeing burnout. So, a lot of times people are coming into this and, and I never charge it to their heart, but I think that part of how we get into this field is about, self. We get into the field thinking,
Welcome back to Leadership Beyond Burnout. I'm your host, Dr. Kimberly L. Wilson. And for those of you who are just visiting, thank you for coming in. And what we do here is we focus on leadership beyond burnout, mental health, wellness, as well as relationships. Today, we have a very special guest that I'd like to share with you. That's Dr. Jasmine Reed. Now, Dr. Jasmine Reed is a licensed psychologist and has been a staunch advocate for communities of color for over a decade. Championing quality mental health services, she founded Ubuntu Psychological Services in 2020. Dr. Reed's culture-first approach fosters understanding of cultural nuances while offering a safe haven for people of color. With a diverse background spanning law enforcement, psychology, and extensive experience with various populations, including geriatrics, foster youth, and couples, she brings a very unique perspective. Additionally, Dr. Reed's corporate consulting service, offered through Dr. J. Reed Wellness, extends her expertise to organizations seeking guidance on diversity, issues, mental health, and more. Committed to fostering dialogue and empowerment, Dr. Reed continues her vital work in advancing mental health awareness. And without further ado, let's bring Dr. Reed aboard. Welcome, Dr. Jasmine. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me.
I was so excited. I love the name of your business, Ubuntu Psychological Services. And I don't think that everyone knows what Ubuntu means. I happen to have the luxury of being able to do my dissertation based upon research in South Africa. So I'd love for you to share what that means.
Yeah. So it's interesting. When I started a practice, I was like, okay, what are some of the things that I really want to embody, not only for the community I'm working with, but like really, how do I connect with other people? And I was like starting to think about like concepts and all these different visions. And I was like, Ubuntu was the one that really just resonated with me. And it resonated with me for a couple of reasons. One, I thought about the meaning of the word and how the essence of how African diaspora people function was from a perspective of community, right? And I was like, that's something we need more of. And the other part was thinking about that I wanted my clientele to think about how they are an intricate part of who we are, right? Like we have this everlasting circle that we need each other. And I wanted people to recognize how important that this, ability to recognize that we are dependent on each other. We need each other. And so Ubuntu embodied every bit of that. So I wanted people to come to my practice and be able to be like, oh, they are really seeing me for who I am, and I'm very much a part of that family. But I also wanted people who worked here to feel like I'm also a part of this, and there's no hierarchy here as well. And so that we all need each other. There's no ability to separate us in those perspectives, but I really wanted us to lean into this community aspect because that is really the origins of who we are as people of color.
Right. And I love the fact that you embody that in the staff that you hire because it's not just one particular ethnicity, there's a rainbow that
Mhm.
offers, even though your services focus specifically, a lot of it is on African American clientele.
Mhm.
So that was quite a beautiful concept. Do you find that in the area that you're in? Is Los Angeles, correct?
We're in Corona,
Okay.
but we service all of California, honestly. And even though we primarily focus with mostly Black and Brown population, I found that people who identify as others or Eurocentric perspectives still find a place here, because the reality is at some point we all feel marginalized in some way. And so
Yes.
the reality is, I would say, when you want healing, you just want good healing, right? You don't care what the person looks like. You just want good healing, right? And so there's a comfort in knowing that even though we specialize with a particular population, we get people from every walks of life and they can feel comfortable here. So it doesn't matter what your religion background is. It doesn't matter what your education is.